Good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you all to the Hindu and the Businessline editorial analysis on 29th July 2022. The Supreme Court, under the bench of Justice A.M. Khanwalkar, has upheld the stringent provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Even the fundamental rights of the citizens and its violation under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, certain provisions are upheld by the apex court. Friends, what is money laundering and what is its purpose? There are three processes involved in money laundering. Money laundering means whitewashing the black money into the legal money which enters the financial system of a country. The three processes involved in money laundering are placement, layering, and integration. Placement involves investing in the bank accounts the black money and depositing it in the bank accounts. When the black money is deposited in the bank accounts, thus the process of layering starts. Under the layering activity, fake invoices and fake trade transactions are raised by transacting with the offshore banking units. Offshore banking units means the foreign banks. Funds are transferred here and there into the domestic system, financial system, and out of the domestic financial system. This is the process called layering. And when the layering has happened, after the placement, the third process of integration is happening. Integration is the purchase of the legal assets in India from the placed layered money, and it becomes the whitewashed money in the form of assets purchased in India. This is a very quick way of making money, or the very quick way of whitewashing the black money into the legal assets in India. However, the money laundering with the help of bank officials, the corrupt bank officials, happens, and there is a danger side to it. Most of the money is traveling offshore to reach the hands of terrorists and narcotic peddlers. Hence, the seriousness of the crime in the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The Supreme Court, the apex court, has held that the stringent bail provisions under the Act could be upheld because the person who is caught under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, PMLA for short, cannot be let free, because this is the most heinous of the crimes of the nation. There is international pressure on curbing the money laundering menace in India. There is a committee called Financial Action Task Force, which is trying to prevent the money laundering. The Financial Action Task Force is trying to prevent the money laundering activities all across the globe. It has made Pakistan commit on the reduction of terrorism and money laundering activities in the territory of Pakistan. Therefore, the nature of this stringent law, the money laundering law, can never be underemphasized. Hence, Supreme Court has upheld, while hearing a batch of petitions, has upheld the constitutionality of not giving any kind of ECIR to the criminals caught under the crime of money laundering. ECIR is Enforcement Case Investigation Report. Supreme Court has held that ECIR raised by the Enforcement Directorate is not equivalent to FIR raised by the police. The Enforcement Directorate, which is entrusted with the task of enforcing the provisions of the Money Laundering Act, are not bound by the criminal PC, that is Criminal Procedure Code. The police officers are bound by Criminal Procedure Code. However, the Enforcement Directorate, which is enforcing the Money Laundering Act in India, are not bound by the Criminal Procedure Code. And the evidence of the Enforcement Directorate is much powerful than the police officers. The oral evidence taken during the investigation by the Enforcement Directorate becomes the final evidence. That is, if a person who is caught under the Money Laundering Act is giving some statements, oral statements before the ED, that becomes the final evidence. However, much said to it, this transgresses the innocent person's power to defend his own case. The fundamental right to defend his own case is the fundamental right to get the bail is being infringed upon by the provisions of the Money Laundering Act. Hence, a lot needs to be seen how this stringent provisions pan out. Then moving on to the BSNL's rescue by the center. This has been long in the making. Around 3 years, the center was thinking of rescuing BSNL. Now it has funded by infusing capital to the tune of 1.64 lakhs crores to the BSNL. The Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, with its small subsidiary Mahanagar Telecom Nagar Limited (MTNL), are the future of India because it was the past of telephony in India. Before the private players came into being in 1990s, BSNL and MTNL held the monopolies. They were the pioneers in the telephony, the landline telephony and the wireless telephony. However, with the coming of the private brigade in the telephone sector, the BSNL's market share has dwindled. Now, the landline connections have dwindled to about 28% in May 2022 from 46% in 2019. The subscriber base in wireless telephony has come down to 11.28 crores. It has reduced by a whopping 45 lakhs people coming out of BSNL. However, only relief is that in rural base it has only lost 11 lakhs subscribers. In this 3 years period, at the time of announcement of central government's plan to rescue BSNL and the present day, the 1 lakh workforce of BSNL has been thrown out. Before it was 1.655 lakhs, a strong workforce. Now it is just 64,000 people working in BSNL. Permanent employees working in BSNL.